The first time Daniel Harper looked up from the chessboard, he didn't see a billionaire CEO. He saw a tired woman hiding loneliness behind perfect posture and an expensive suit. "You win," she said coolly, sliding her queen forward. "And if you beat me, I'll marry you." The room went silent. Executives lining the glass-walled boardroom froze. Phones stopped recording. Even the city skyline outside seemed to pause. Elena Wright, CEO of Wright Global, the youngest woman ever to lead a Fortune 100 company, didn't joke. She never wasted words. Daniel didn't move his piece. Instead, he slowly pushed his chair back, folded his hands, and said something no one expected. "I'm not here to win a wife. I'm here to teach my son that integrity matters more than trophies." That was the moment Elena Wright's carefully controlled world cracked. One, a CEO who never lost. Elena Wright had spent her entire life winning. Top of her class, youngest board member, fastest-growing global expansion. She trusted numbers, logic, and strategy, especially chess. Chess was her refuge, her proof that emotions were weaknesses and people were predictable. Once a month, she invited challengers, brilliant minds, prodigies, champions, to play her in the executive boardroom. None had beaten her in 5 years. When her assistant mentioned a single dad from the community center who ran a free chess club for underprivileged kids, Elena almost declined. Almost. Something about the file bothered her. Daniel Harper, age 36, former math teacher, widowed, one son Lucas, age 9. No elite schools, no trophies. Yet he'd beaten 3 regional champions. "Invite him," Elena said. "I'm curious." To the man with nothing to prove. Daniel almost didn't come. He hated the polished floors, the security checks, the feeling of being out of place. His suit was borrowed. His shoes were old. But Lucas had squeezed his hand that morning and said, "Dad, just be you." That was enough. When Daniel entered the boardroom, Elena didn't look up immediately. She was studying the board, already confident. "You're late," she said. "I was early," Daniel replied calmly. "I just wanted to watch the city for a moment." That made her glance up. Their eyes met, and for the first time in years, Elena felt unsettled, not intimidated but seen. They sat. The game began. 3, a different kind of player. Elena attacked aggressively. Daniel defended patiently. She sacrificed pieces for position. He protected what mattered. As the game unfolded, murmurs spread. Daniel wasn't playing to dominate. He was playing to understand her. He anticipated her moves not with cold calculation, but intuition. "You play like a teacher," Elena remarked. Daniel smiled faintly. "And you play like someone who learned to survive early." Her hand paused mid-move. No one had ever said that to her. 4, the reckless offer. The board tightened. Only a few pieces remained. Elena realized too late that Daniel had cornered her. For the first time in years, checkmate loomed. Her chest tightened. Losing felt like failure, and failure felt dangerous. So she did what she always did when she felt cornered. She controlled the narrative. "If you beat me," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "I'll marry you." Gasps echoed. She expected laughter, arrogance, a smug grin. She did not expect Daniel to stand up. 5, the answer that changed everything. "I won't," Daniel said quietly. Elena frowned. "Excuse me." "I won't beat you for that," he continued, "and I won't marry anyone as a prize." The room felt smaller. "My wife died 8 years ago," Daniel said, his voice steady but eyes soft. "She was my partner, not my reward, and my son deserves to see love chosen freely, not bargained for." Silence fell heavy. Elena felt heat rise to her face, not from embarrassment but something deeper. Shame, respect, curiosity. Daniel sat back down. "Now," he said gently, If you want to finish the game, I'm happy to. No conditions. Her hands trembled as she moved her rook. 3 moves later, checkmate. 6 after the loss. The boardroom emptied quickly. Executives avoided Alina's gaze. She remained seated, staring at the board. I haven't lost in years, she whispered. Daniel packed his pieces. Then maybe today wasn't about losing. She looked up. Why didn't you take the offer? Because I don't want my son growing up believing love is a transaction, he replied, or that power replaces kindness. Alina swallowed. No one had ever challenged her values so gently and so completely. 7. A child's wisdom. A week later, Alina did something unprecedented. She visited the community center. Children crowded around battered chess boards. Laughter echoed off peeling walls. And there, kneeling beside a table, was Daniel, teaching Lucas how to recover after losing a knight. Every loss teaches you something, Daniel said. You just have to be brave enough to listen. Lucas looked up and saw Alina. Dad, he whispered, is that the chess lady? Daniel smiled. Yes, it is. Lucas stood, walked over, and said, It's okay that you lost. My dad says losing doesn't make you less. It makes you human. Alina felt tears sting her eyes. No quarterly report had ever hit her like that. 8. The real challenge. Alina began sponsoring the chess program. Then she stayed. Then she played. And slowly she listened. She learned about Daniel's struggles, balancing 2 jobs, grief, guilt, raising a boy who still slept with his mother's scarf under his pillow. Daniel learned about Alina's childhood, an absent father, a mother who equated love with achievement, a life built on proving worth. They argued, they laughed, they disagreed. And one evening, after a long game that ended in a draw, Alina said quietly, I don't know how to lose control. Daniel replied, then don't, just learn when to share it. 9. Love without conditions. Months passed. One night, Alina stood in the same boardroom, setting up a chessboard for 2. Daniel arrived, nervous. No audience, she said, no cameras. They played slowly. At the end, Alina tipped her king. I resign. Daniel looked up. Why? Because this time, she said softly, I choose you, not because you won, but because you didn't. She took a breath. I don't want a husband I can control. I want a partner who can challenge me and teach my future children what strength really is. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. And this time, he said, I'm not afraid to say yes. 10. The strongest message. They didn't marry quickly. They built trust, family, healing. Lucas walked Alina down the aisle 2 years later, grinning. And on the wall of their home hung a framed chessboard, not from the day Daniel won, but from the day he refused to. Because the strongest move isn't checkmate. It's choosing love with integrity.